To be awesome is a question we're going to ask next. A new online program being launched this week by Corporate Dojo about making choices that enable us all to thrive. Karen Gately is a martial arts sensei, runs Corporate Dojo, also hosts Black Belt Leader here on Ticker, and is awesome, and joins us at the desk. How are you doing?
I'm awesome. Thank you.
That was the correct answer.
Yeah.
What is Be Awesome? Talk to us about the idea behind it.
Yeah, look, we've been running this program for a number of years in classrooms, and it was born because, we saw a need to help people to feel more empowered to get into the driving seat of their own lives. And organisations were also looking for ways to really lift ownership, personal accountability for the extent to which people were thriving. So obviously in the current climate, we can't get out there sharing these insights. We're launching our online program, which again just takes people through key choices we need to make. Choices about how we're thinking, choices about how obviously we feel, what emotions we entertain, and the actions that we take to create reality.
The idea of personal accountability is so interesting here as well, because a lot of business leaders get told that it's their job to make sure that their team is awesome.
That's right.
But really, it's up to people to make that choice.
Exactly right. And I'll never forget, one client said to me one day, pardon me, I'm just tired of the management tap dance, and I said to her, what does that mean? She said, it's the constant, are you happy yet?
Right.
Just there's absolute truth in, even if we're a fantastic leader, if people don't want to thrive, if they don't want to be awesome, it's not going to happen. So there needs to be...
And that's the thing, we talk about the workplaces of the future, we talk about the ideal workplace, but you're always going to end up with that one person, or quite often more than one person. It's just a job.
Yeah.
And that comes back to the recruitment process. So how do you, when you recruit, look for awesome?
Yeah, it's really about assessing character traits in human beings. So Be Awesome, the program, really helps people to recognise what character traits will enable me to be awesome, and then to go about developing those. So employers can be looking for that. So for example, is there a strong desire to achieve my outcomes? Is there a courageous mindset and way of thinking in the way people make their decisions? Do people have humility? Are they fundamentally operating with integrity? These are all things that we can take a peek at that through obviously our interview questioning, also our reference checking, but critically through our probationary periods as well. Are people really turning up a version of themselves that's enough today and capable of becoming more over time? So, again, I've seen great leaders really struggle to get some people to step in and step up. So how could you be a great leader when you're struggling to get people to step up? Well, I think it is about clearly leading by example, but then it's about having the coaching conversations that need to be had around, here's what I see in your potential, and here's what I see in the choices you're making that are undermining that potential. So, tough love can, very much be about being in service to people and helping them to see what's going on by looking in the mirror, so they have some opportunity to be better. And then obviously we can coach around if it's a lack of confidence. If it's just fundamentally, I'm disengaged, I'm not in the right space, I don't want to be here, I don't love this, then again, that's honest conversations that need to be had, and leaders need to then make decisions. Is that enough for our business, or do we actually need you to go and be ordinary somewhere else?
Amazon's a really interesting one. I've been doing a bit of research into how they operate in terms of from a cultural perspective.
Yeah. And
during COVID-19, they started to see sales spikes go up quite substantially in certain products, which was the sign that we were in the midst of a pandemic. And as people were going into shops, they couldn't find things, so they'd go home and go on Amazon, and all of a sudden Amazon's this crazy place. It was already a crazy place with so many people working crazy shifts. But it got to the stage where Amazon became essentially an essential service for people. Food became an essential service, products became an essential service. But staff morale, as you would imagine, they weren't feeling anything. Jeff Bezos became incredibly wealthy, but it didn't pass on to the people who are on the front line, many of whom, if they were concerned about working too closer to other people, wanted to take time off, but just wouldn't be paid. How do you kind of look at Jeff Bezos, who would be considered to be a widely successful business person, yet has a whole lot of unhappy staff stuck at home?
Yeah, look, I think really if we look back through history, it's the sustainability of these organisations, and of course there's a big call to say that one day that organisation may struggle to survive, but we've seen it many, many times before where businesses are built on a great idea, a space in the market that they capture, that, you know, obviously there's some elements of that business that are super great, and there must be elements of the team's capabilities that drive that, for example, efficiency and that ability to deliver the service. But ultimately, you know, if you look back, for example, on Jim Collins' Good to Great research and the book that came out of that, you know, it's if we look over the long term, do businesses continue to get better and better and grow, or do they stagnate and die? So history will really give us the answer, but in my experience, when human beings are thriving, organisations thrive, and when human beings disconnect and, you know, are no longer emotionally invested in the business, the chances of it continuing to be the best version of itself is clearly undermined.
It's obvious but sad, isn't it, that you have this situation and where capitalism essentially pushes us to just make money, and that's the testament for it. You were talking a little earlier about how one of the things is what actually makes you happy as a leader, as an employee.
That's right.
My version is that if I'm on a weekend or time away from work, I'm not thinking about work because I don't have the anxiety. And not just that, but I have a rich life outside of work.
That's right.
That, to me, is the key to happiness, because you can spend all your time, particularly when you're a startup, working, thinking about work, panicking about work, anxiety about work.
Been there, done
you
that.
might be making money, but are you actually happy?
Exactly. And so Be Awesome actually starts by encouraging people to define what thriving means to them.
Yeah.
Like, what does it really mean?
Yeah.
Because again, all day, every day, just about, I talk to people who aren't happy, but on the surface of it have achieved amazing success. You know, I coach CEOs who have real challenges in their relationships at home, or, you know, people who are sitting at the top of their organisation going, is this it? Is this what I sacrificed?
It's incredibly
everything
lonely
for?
at the top is what we hear, because no one understands what you've gone through. Sometimes your partner does, and they've come with you, and in the case of Jeff Bezos, when it comes to an end, it costs you a lot of money because they were there through that really difficult, treacherous journey to the top.
But a lot of people are not playing the violin for somebody who has a lot, who's achieved a position in life, and is unhappy.
And that's how you end up finding a lot of these people have secret double lives, where it could be a sexual side, it could be, as we've been learning about, of course, or it could be that they go rock climbing or etc., just because they find themselves so isolated from other human beings.
Absolutely, and really disconnected from their passions, their purpose, what they love, what really nurtures their spirit, gives them energy, makes working hard sustainable. So, you know, again, everything we're trying to do in this program is to help people to identify, what does success really look like to me? Financial outcomes might be part of that, but what about the broader picture? And then make that happen.
Karen Gately, appreciate your time. See you at 11 o'clock for Black Belt Leader, and look forward to seeing the new online portal.
Thank you.
All right.